Compassion fatigue, DSW 1024. Compassion fatigue, caring for the caregiver. Goals. 1. Provide an overview of compassion fatigue by the use of a compassion fatigue glossary. 2. Describe factors leading to compassion fatigue by the use of menu of misconceptions. 3. Familiarize workshop with symptoms of compassion fatigue by describing a compassion fatigue trajectory. 4. Suggest practical ways of preventing CF by offering the caregiver self-care recipe. 5. List the actions necessary for recovering from compassion fatigue and a steps to recovery. 6. Supply a bibliography to support continued learning for pastors and other compassionate caregivers. Compassion fatigue glossary. Stress, the non-specific response of the human organism to any demand placed upon it. Suffering, a state of severe distress associated with events that threaten the intactness of the person. Compassion, deep awareness of the suffering of another coupled with the wish to relieve it. Compassionate mission, any endeavor by individuals, groups of individuals, or organizations to alleviate the suffering of others. Compassion fatigue. 1. A state of tension and preoccupation with the individual or cumulative trauma of clients as manifested in one of more ways, including re-experiencing the traumatic event, avoidance, numbing of reminders of the event, and persistent arousal. 2. The natural consequence of stress resulting from caring for and helping traumatized or suffering people or animals. Burnout, a state associated with stress and hassles involved in your vocation. Menu of misconceptions. 1. I will fix the problem, make everything okay, save the world. 2. I am responsible for outcomes. 3. If I care enough, everything will be okay. 4. The sufferer or victim will appreciate everything I do for them. 5. I will have enough resources, time, money, material, skills, and training to fix things. 6. Significant people in my life will support and approve my absence from our relationship while I invest in this compassionate mission. 7. I know what I am getting into. 8. I can do it alone. 9. If I'm spiritual enough, I can deal with the stress of working with suffering people. 10. My definition of success is compassion fatigue trajectory, the zealot phase, the irritability phase, the withdrawal phase, the zombie phase, pathology versus renewal maturation. Zealot phase, committed, involved, available, solving problems, making a difference, willingly go the extra mile, high enthusiasm, volunteers without being asked. The irritability phase. Begin to cut corners. Begin to avoid clients, patients. Begin to mock coworkers and clients. Begin to denigrate the people we serve. Use of humor is inappropriate. Oversights, mistakes, and lapses of concentration. Start distancing ourselves from friends and coworkers. The withdrawal phase. Enthusiasm turns sour. Clients become irritants instead of persons. We make complaints about our work life and our personal life. Tired all the time, don't want to talk about what we do. We start to neglect our family, clients, coworkers, and ourselves. We try to avoid our pain and sadness. The zombie phase. Our hopelessness turns to rage. We begin to hate people, all people. Others appear incompetent or ignorant to us. We develop a real disdain for our clients. We have no patience, no sense of humor, no time for fun. Pathology and victimization versus maturation and renewal. Overwhelmed in leaving the profession, somatic illness, perpetuity of symptoms, or hardiness, resiliency, transformation. A word about symptoms. nervousness and anxiety, anger and irritability, mood swings, flashbacks, difficulty concentrating, lowered self-esteem, feeling less trusting of others and the world, withdrawing from others, changes in appetite, sleep, or other habits, physical changes, depression, self-medication, self-entitlement. Signs and symptoms: sleep disturbance, exhaustion, avoidance of circumstances, isolation, self-doubt of ability to help, stress, complacency, secretly wishing clients don't show up, anxiety, irritability, resentments with coworkers, missing meetings or peer supervisions, overworking. This is not an exhaustive list. Note how symptoms may mirror more serious illness. A caregiver's self-care recipe: 1 part self-knowledge, 1 part self-examination, 1 part resourcing, 1 part expectations, 1 part self-care strategy, and 1 part plan for re-entering a normal life. Steps to recovery: intentionality, connection, anxiety management, self-soothing, self-care, narrative, desensitization and reprocessing, self-supervision. Can we prevent compassion fatigue? Compassion fatigue has been described as the cost of caring for others in emotional pain. Compassion fatigue is an occupational hazard. Compassion fatigue is a disorder that affects those who do their work well. Caring for others is both my calling and my cross to bear. Seeing the signs in yourself and others: decline in health, relationship, and job performance, thoughts of quitting, feelings of fear, anxiety, and inadequacy, low self-esteem, and lack of confidence. How to manage compassion fatigue. Awareness is key. Self-test: are you in the danger zone? Professional quality of life test. Compassion self-test. Self-care: limiting exposure, setting boundaries. Self-worth: be confident, take your own advice. Some final thoughts. 1. Compassion fatigue is always a possibility for those who care for others. 2. There is no compassion fatigue when all of our caring is successful. 3. If you don't care for yourself, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, then eventually there will not be enough of you left to care for anyone else. 4. Compassion fatigue: it's not a character flaw. When compassion fatigue leaves, the joy of caring returns. Symptoms of compassion fatigue: intrusive, thoughts and images associated with the client's problems and pain, obsessive or compulsive desire to help certain clients, client work issues encroaching on personal time, inability to let go of mission-related matters, perception of clients as fragile and needing your assistance, sense of inadequacy, sense of entitlement, perception of the world in terms of victims and perpetrators, personal activities interrupted by the mission. Symptoms of compassion fatigue: avoidance, silencing response, avoiding client stuff, loss of enjoyment, cessation of self-care activities, loss of energy, loss of hope, sense of dread working with certain clients, loss of sense of competence or potency, isolation, secretive self-medication, addiction, alcohol, drugs, work, sex, food, spending, etc. Relational dysfunction. Symptoms of compassion fatigue: arousal, increased anxiety, impulsivity, reactivity, increased perception of demand or threat in both the job and the environment, increased frustration or anger, sleep disturbance, difficulty concentrating, change in weight, appetite, somatic symptoms. A word about sleep. Sleep disruption is both a key indicator of compassion fatigue and one of the primary causes of compassion fatigue. Sleep disruption is a key symptom of compassion fatigue. When a caregiver's sleep pattern is disrupted for an extended period of time, this is a key warning sign that something is wrong. If normal sleep patterns aren't reestablished, this, combined with other symptoms, may indicate that the caregiver is developing compassion fatigue. Disruption of normal sleep patterns can be a primary cause of compassion fatigue. It is during normal deep sleep that much of the processing of the traumatic experiences occur. When sleep is disrupted, either shortened or disturbed, the traumatic experience can become lodged in the sympathetic nervous system. Over time, an accumulation of these unprocessed traumatic experiences can lead to compassion fatigue. Are we doing enough in society to help protect the helpers? Whose job is it to help protect the helpers? Write your recipe for recovery. Preparation. Create an atmosphere of peace. Surround yourself with encouragement. Regain your smile. Notice a sunrise or sunset. Be still. Journal. Take a mental break day. Ingredients for self-care. Personal. Massage. Exercise. Meditation. Recipe for recovery. As counselors and caring professionals, we give of our time, our talent, and our treasure. You can't give all of your treasure away. Self-care is a lifelong journey and a consciously chosen lifestyle. Save some good things for yourself. There's no such thing as a normal life, just life. Wyatt Earp. Keep living, giving, and caring. Tidbits. The need will always be greater than the resources. Use care in how you measure success. Value small victories. Who you are is as important to the mission as what you do. Their pain is not your pain. Don't take them home with you. Remember to care for your spirit, emotions, and body so that there will be time left to give.